to know what brought him back, like what brought him back and what enamored him with StarCraft Evolution. But really cool to see the return of Quantel. Really cool. Big fan, big fan. As in the bottom right hand corner, we do have our Brood War Terran player. It is ZaRDieNT. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the Indonesian Protoss, the pink Protoss. It is Quantel. But again, I've got a soft place in my heart for Quantel, of course. We featured him many times in ANZ Champs, for example, in the Southeast Asian regionals as well. And again, we've casted Quantel plenty of times on the channel, but it's been a couple of years, like legit. It's been a couple of years since he's been active. So really cool to see the return of Quantel. Really cool to see. Much love as well. Now, when it comes to his return, I actually haven't been able to cast too much of Quantel. Of course, we've cast it many times in years past, in 2020, 2019, 2018, 2021 as well. Was a relatively younger player back then, from my memory, from my recollection. But now he's back, now he's returned, and we'll see how he's adapted to StarCraft Evolution. Here we go. Still on Team GDA, of course. Settling in to our initial opener here. So okay, expanded Cybercore, nothing too crazy out of our Protoss player. Likewise, we have our own setup as well from ZaRDieNT. Now ZaRDieNT, from my brief encounters with ZaRDieNT, he's quite fond of mech. We've seen a lot of mech out of our Terran player here. We'll see if that continues. We'll see if that is also applicable here to TvP. If he does go for a second factory into a Vulture-based opener. Again, I was most excited to see the 1-1-1 out of DICE previously, but that might just be a little bit more of like a little bit more of an, I almost said aberration, of an exception from the norm. I would love to see more of that, but our eyes are on ZaRDieNT here as the machine shop is on the way. Machine shop on that factory, and our eyes are open looking for a second factory as well. As Vulture production has begun, Spider Mines are on the way. Is opening up mech. Ooh, armory as well, okay. A much faster armory gets scouted though. Quantel does push into the main. It will delay the armory as well. Ay, ay, ay. Bearing in mind the armory is of course a prerequisite to Goliath production, but also to get into the upgrades, to get into mech. And that does shade down to low ground. Gets one SCV so far, just the one. Will threaten the other. A couple of them do get low, but with that, ZaRDieNT does hold. Does hold. There it is. Second factory is on the way. Now the army is done. Yep, there it is. It's going to be opening up. I said Vulture. It's going to be opening up a Goliath. I would imagine this is partly because he has not scouted across the map, so this might just be a safe way to open up, just to make sure he has anti-air, just so he doesn't die to a random oracle. As the Vulture does bust in, 3 probes going to be going down. Does get 3 workers, but does not get into the main. And yeah, it looks like it was just a safety Goliath. We've seen this out of Kiwian. If you've been watching much of Kiwian, for example, whenever he plays mech, he does at times go for an early Goliath in this matchup just so he's ready for Oracle play if he doesn't scout. So very similar here. He's not going mass Goliath by any means, he's only opening up in case it was a Stargate. Behind this, we have the Academy. That is going to be for, of course, the Comsat Station. Getting to more factories, +1 vehicle weapons is on the way. And building up his own mech army. He did, of course, invest into Spider Mines, but did not invest into Ion Thrusters. So going Vulture and Tank. Researching Siege Mode. Not committing too hard into Mass Vulture, which I find interesting. It does mean that he has less map presence and less map control. Soldiers they poke in, they dive on the tank. The first tank is going to go down. Get no repairs. Get no repairs in time. Brutal start there for ZaRDieNT. Will punish some of the Stalkers, though. Does punish. As Quantel does pull away. Getting into a more gateway-heavy composition. It's going to go more gateway-heavy. There we go. There's that Ion Thrusters. Setting up for more Vultures. Once again, though, these Stalkers, they do pin him back. They pin him down. ZaRDieNT slowly trying to break out. Meanwhile, Quantel heavily mining on 3 bases. It's getting us fully saturated. Now taking up in towards Archons and Storm. I don't think Quantel's actually seen much of the main base, but based on what he's seen, I mean, he can assume it's going to be mech anyway. Can make that assumption. I does see the army moving out. Picks off another tank. Ay, ay, ay. Will cost him a Stalker. 2 Stalkers even. Does sustain a couple of losses. And water production has begun. Again, Quantel just building up his anti-mech army. More Stalkers, Zealots, Immortals, Archons. They're catching up the tanks as well. They're unsieged. And they're going to be going down. A nice blink here from Quantel. Dives on the tanks. They're going to be falling one after the other. He will clean everything up. Ay, ay, ay. Does cost him a lot of Stalkers, but takes down every single tank. Takes down the tanks, takes down the army. I'll say it's still a better trade for Quantel. Brutal that he lost all the Stalkers, though. True. But does that shut ZaRDieNT down. Oh, nice Vulture run by. Slips into the main. Does slip in. We can, of course, one-shot workers into Vultures. Gets 5. 5 Vultures do go down. And ZaRDieNT, my biggest concern here for him is he's still on 2 bases. Like, he's still stuck on a 2-base setup. Meanwhile, Quantel gets a 4th. This was my big criticism of Ateshi, if you remember earlier in the broadcast, how it took so long for Ateshi to expand. Meanwhile, here, Quantel, he's all over it. He's all over it. He's getting a 4th base already. Working towards +2. And, of course, rebuilding his gateway army. And ZaRDieNT, oh, we're going to be here for a while. We're gonna ay, ay, ay. Alright, strap yourselves in. We're throwing down a wall of spider mines. We have the minefield set up. Here come the Zealots. Can they make it through? Oof. And they will barely get on top of the first 2 tanks. Yeah, 1, 2 tanks going down. They're going to try to keep pushing in, actually. Yeah, blinks on forward, dives on another tank. Bold move here by Quantel. Takes down most of the tanks. There's 2 left. Down to 2. And down to 1. Yeah, cleans up every single tank just barely. Not the cleanest trade out of Quantel is what I will say. Not the cleanest trade, but it breaks through the main army. Gets into the mineral land. Here come the reinforcements. And Quantel, before ZaRDieNT can wall up, GG gets called. And Quantel, he will take game number 1. Thank God. GG, well played. Again, ZaRDieNT, he was so ready. He was so prepared to make this a 45-minute game. He was getting ready to just fully wall off with the minefield, with the tank line, with the turrets as well. But Quantel, he barely broke through. It was questionable, especially when it came to the dive with those wing stalkers. It was a little bit questionable, but he was able to just barely go for the kill just before we fully walled up, and he tried to make the game a little bit longer, or just slow the game down. We saw that Quantel was able to break on through. GG, well played. Whew, with that, Quantel takes the lead. Hi. I can always rely on Quantel, Papi. I can rely. But here we go, we're now getting into game number 2, and it is going to be up to ZaRDieNT to pick whether or not he wants to commit to Brutal Terran or switch to SE2. What's it gonna be? Personally, I would love to see Quantel's Brood War Protoss. I'd love to see like how he does handle it and how he's looking when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. I'd love to see, love to know. And we might be able to find out as we are getting into our next game. Okay, spawning in the top left-hand corner, we do have ZaRDieNT, our purple Brood War Terran. And in the top right-hand corner of our mirror, we have the Indonesian Protoss. It is Quantel, the SE2 Protoss. So unfortunately, won't quite be able to embrace his Brood War Protoss, not yet at least. We'll get there, I'm sure. Interesting move out. Are you referring to ZaRDieNT's tank push? I mean, I suppose so. Like, it was very tank heavy, and it didn't really have much vulture support. If you're referring to his first move out, which did kind of fall in its face and did force him to be more defensive and more turtly. So it was a bit of a rough move out from ZaRDieNT for sure. It was unfortunate that he got caught out in the open. It was unfortunate. Go. 2-gate opener. Okay, so 2-gate opener out of Quantel. A much more aggressive start. From here we can open up double adept. Interesting quotation mark. Oh, don't be a clown, Pappy. Don't be a clown. Esther Hyper 1. Oh, and we're going back to what we do best. What do we see here? 3 Raxes. 3 Rax sim timing here out of ZaRDieNT. Let's go. As this is actually the first time we're seeing it today. Again, this is much more common, much more, I guess, meta builds to Brood War Terran to StarCraft Evolution, and we're going to be able to see it here and now as well. Here we go. ZaRDieNT told me he played this series in 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, he was jet lagged as well, right? It's like he just got off a plane. No, he didn't get a lot to eat. He was hungry. The kitchen was on fire. It happens. It happens. Yeah, for sure. Curb, yeah. So Quantel does dip in, does gap the entire main, does confirm, does for the 3-rack setup, and these lefts are getting quite a bit done here. They're getting a couple of SCVs, which isn't the biggest of deals. What's important though is that he scouts the positioning of his opponent, does scout the build of choice. So Quantel is fully aware of the sim timing. We can see him being aggressive ahead of time, trying to engage. Behind this, going for a robo. Sentries are building up as well. It does break in. Once again, delaying the push. Doing another 2 SCVs. The amount of nerfs that this build has received. I want to say that this build has received nerfs throughout the entirety of the year. Make ZaRDieNT a true figure of determination. I mean, I'm pretty sure Bjorn is still going to be doing this build as well. Like, I don't... Like, despite the nerfs, I don't think it's going to deter players from embracing it. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a part of what the patch entails. Or what this tournament is meant to be about. But here we go. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for ZaRDieNT. Force fields will lock him down. Very nice. But Quantel, calm down. Zones away the army. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Quantel. He does have a Colossus on the way. There's a first in. And there's no second force field. Boys gonna be pulled. Army does kite back. Nice Guardian shield. Shield by Likewise putting in a lot of work as well. Running out of SCVs. There's another stim. Dustin forward. Takes down the probes. And again, we need a little bit more time for the Colossus. Can he get on top of the Robo? Can he get on top of the Pylon? It's going to be close. The Pylon. Yeah, does stim in. Takes down the Stalker. Takes down the Adept. Ooh, Colossus does pop. And Marines are being cleaned up here. Quantel will clean this up, but not without losing 20 workers. 20 probes do go down. That is critical damage. On the one hand, yes, ZaRDieNT, he pulled the boys, but he does do critical damage. He does do enough. 21 probe kills. With that, we have 20 workers left. And ZaRDieNT, he can macro. He can expand. He can get a third CC. Behind this, going for the factory, researching siege mode. He's building up from here. But ZaRDieNT, he's in a pretty nice position. He's looking relatively comfortable. I say relative. Tech-wise, I do favor Quantel, right? He has a Colossus. He has another on the way. Against a bio composition, Quantel can still excel. That's what the tanks are for. As siege mode is almost done. And do we have any tanks? Ooh, that is the question. What's the defensive position looking like? Okay, tank is on the high ground. We just heard it siege. Lower ground is exposed. There's a scan, reveals a Colossus. And Quantel can nibble away at the bunker. Shades forward. No, the Arsenal. Every time. They're all animals. Leave the Arsenals alone. As again, ZaRDieNT, he is stabilizing here with his bio tank. He has yet to throw down a third CC. So that's what I'm keeping my eye open for here, is whether or not ZaRDieNT expands. Likewise, Quantel, I mean, at this point, because of all his losses, I mean, there's a reason why he's still on 2 bases. But he is resaturating. Working on the extended lands. There it is, third CC's on the way from the Terran. So he is expanding. We're getting in towards the mid-game. And soon it's going to be up to Quantel to likewise also expand. Right now, he's in the dark. He doesn't know if his opponent's going to go for another all-in. He doesn't know how aggressive ZaRDieNT is going to be. Yeah, it's a 4-gateway explosion. Again, these 4 gates could be a Nexus, right? They could be an expansion here. Quantel just doesn't know. Ooh, the Observer does pull away. Oof, gets caught out. Keen eyes there out of ZaRDieNT. Yo, what soundtrack is this? As we are building up, again, Quantel, I will say that his third base is quite late here, but just because he's not really aware of how safe he is or how much danger he's in. As he's now looking to expand. He is spotted here by ZaRDieNT. ZaRDieNT is already getting a third. So Quantel's still behind economically. Is behind ZaRDieNT looking for a ninja base. And we'll see if Quantel can recover here. Still has no Storm either. He's quite heavily reliant on Colossus, which can still trade well against Bio, of course. For sure. Can trade well. So I'm just like enjoying the music. I haven't heard this before, or if I have, it was like once in like a campaign mission. So just enjoying. This is reminding me of like someone like Bruce Falconer School or something. Let's go. For now though, dropping towards the main. Shuttle is getting shut down by the turrets, and will fall. It barely does unload. With that ZaRDieNT, he should be okay. Should be able to defend. Likewise, Quantel is holding his own, pushing him between the bases. We've been here before. It's quite similar to the game on Maganatha, where ZaRDieNT, he's fully walling up. He's got a line of tanks. Now, he's of course playing bio, not mech. We even have a lockdown on the way, which I do appreciate. It's been a while since we've really seen lockdown be prevalent in StarCraft Evolution, despite it being like one of my favorite spells. Feels bad, man. But he's getting into bio tank, and he's turtling up quite heavily despite not playing mech. And what I appreciate here is that Quantel, he's recognized this, and what's he doing? He's expanding, which is the correct thing to do. I will criticize, of course, and say that Quantel's third is late and his fourth is late, and he could have had map control and a greater economy sooner, but he's getting there. He is getting there. Likewise, second robo, double disruptor production. He's building up his own ground army as well. And I'm excited to see Ghost again. I'm excited. Again, it's something that we rarely see nowadays. Lockdown, of course, is almost like Interference Matrix, I guess, where it's like the brutal variation of that. You can go in, you can lock down units. The biggest difference, of course, is that it does actually root the unit in place. And it can work quite nicely here against a robo-heavy composition. Against Colossus, against Disruptors, against Immortals as well. This is where we're going to need some counterplay alongside this, with High Templar, with feedbacks, of course. And the game is slowing down. With Quantel now claiming a fourth base, like Quantel's going to be looking to max out. Still not entirely convinced by the armies, but we'll see how they do engage. As here we go, we have a mass on siege. ZaRDieNT is pushing. Let's go. Likewise, ZaRDieNT, he's having a hard time spending his money here. He has a bank. He's still yet to max out. Pushing across the map. No vision here from Quantel. They don't run into each other. There he goes. Oh, 3 ghosts go down. Nova goes up. Oh my god, brutal connection. ZaRDieNT, he face checks up the ramp. Don't never face check back. Oh god. As almost every ghost is going to be falling. Nice lockdowns here on top of the Colossus. But that was just a brutal way to start the fight. Ay. He checked with the face and he lost the face, man. He lost it. Oh god. From here he does catch a Colossus. Again, lockdown does last a very long time. And again, he still has a hefty tank count, I should say. ZaRDieNT, he's bled out a lot of ghosts, a lot of marines, but the tank count still stands strong. He's got a lot of tanks. And he's slowly edging his way forward. Ooh, does his 2. A couple of tanks are going to be going down. Zelsay collapse in. Ooh, catching out the fire. But an awkward engage here from Quantel. Forced to back up. ZaRDieNT, he does bust into the mineral lane. A nice run by here. Quantel completely out of position. Doesn't get too much done though. 3 probes. Only 3 worker kills. Again, that's still a terrifying tank count. We're still making more tanks. More tanks are on the way. But alas, ZaRDieNT's out of position. Remember, there's no planetary. So I'll take it across the map. SE is going to be going down. We have fire bats. I guess they would help against zealots. through. Oh god, it's not obvious. They do stack. The SVs they do stack. 22 SVs going to be going down. Brutal losses, tanks are left exposed, and Quantel's just pulling a ZaRDieNT apart. GG gets called. ZaRDieNT will lose everything, and Quantel, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. An impressive comeback there from Quantel. Remember, Quantel, he was down in workers. His economy was crippled after the early 3-rack stim timing. Again, a really strong timing there, really strong timing from the side of ZaRDieNT. Despite the fact that the build has been nerfed quite heavily, still looking quite strong here against Quantel, I will say that. So, again, it was a really strong start from ZaRDieNT. He did have an economic lead in the aftermath, but we saw that he didn't do anything with it. Again, ZaRDieNT, he's known for being more turtley, more passive, more defensive, and he allowed Quantel to recover. He allowed him to get back into that game, to get back into it, to recover, and to stabilize, to eventually stabilize. It also didn't help as well that the fight started so poorly for ZaRDieNT. As you mentioned, he blindly pushed up a ramp. He took a massive Nova to the face. He lost 3 ghosts early on, and then lost another 3 right after as well. So just a really rough start to the fight, losing a lot of key units early on, and with that, he was torn apart. GG. GG, well played. Do appreciate seeing some more mid to late game bio play in TvP, just because it's a bit of a rarer sight. I see someone mentioning how the lockdown buff's paying off. I mean, kind of. Again, I feel like we still have to see a lot more games for that. I do appreciate seeing Ghost once again, just because that was my favorite part of the start of the year. We saw a lot of Ghost play. Shout out to Honmono. Honmono was very fond of Ghost play as well, but that kind of fell by the wayside just because of the prevalence of some of these other builds and other styles. Like mech, of course, especially mech. But with that, GG. With that, GG well played. Quantel will advance on into the next round, and he'll advance on to face off against Rumieth in a PvZ. Now, until then, we're going to be going on a short break. We're nearing the tail end of the broadcast. We have 2 matches left. We have 2 best of 3s remaining. We have Rumieth versus Quantel, and we have Tasia versus Prome. So 2 matches remaining. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our next set of matches. We'll see you soon.